Facebook parent company Meta is paying a top Republican consulting firm Targeted Victory to orchestrate a nationwide campaign seeking to turn the public against TikTok. This is according to Washington Post reporting.
Targeted Victory's campaign includes placing letters and op-eds to the editor in major news outlets and promoting doubtful stories about TikTok trends that actually originated on Facebook. Facebook is paying the GOP firm to trash TikTok as, quote, the real threat to society.
Yeah, this story was really interesting, but I actually have a sort of in the middle take, because I think this story was very interesting and it points to some real problems, but also it was an aggressively pro TikTok story, and there are like some legitimate problems with TikTok. Now they were right to point out some of the moral panics about like trends originating on TikToks that were not real or had originated on Facebook, like the beta teacher trend, or like these just absolutely made up like stories about kids wilding out and going crazy or something that were just moral panics. And yes, Facebook was clearly paying this group, this influence group, to promulgate that narrative. Of course, corporate sabotage is something, espionage and sabotage is as old as time, so there's nothing actually novel about this. And the Washington Post story treated it as if it was like a real, oh my gosh, can we believe this is going on? When yeah, it's going on. But it was some untruths being told about TikTok. That said, the privacy concerns about, TikTok is a Chinese company. We have a lot of concerns about China. The privacy concerns are real. The national security implications are serious with TikTok. So it's not, the story was trying to be like, oh, TikTok's the good guys, Facebook's the clear villains, and it's much more complicated than that, in my view. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree that obviously I think it should be no surprise that companies do things like this against one another, right, in order to get an edge. We see politicians do it. I would imagine that companies do it as well. But I agree with you. I agree that TikTok is something that when you're especially entities that are coming out of a country like China, where they have much more control over every company within their society, within their country. So that means that the government is able to get in there and control things a bit more. And we see that young kids, I'm not on TikTok much. I know you guys aren't really either. So we're like a bunch of old fogies trying to figure out like, how bad is TikTok for young kids? But if they are, if it is like Instagram, where it is indoctrinating them in a way, right, on how to behave, what to like, what to wear, what's trending, what's cool. If a government is able to shape that is, and it's not our government, I think that obviously is, to me, problematic, would be concerning.
I think it has certain improvements from my limited kind of looking at it. There are things about it in the whole, versus Instagram and how Instagram is harmful for teen girls, which we've talked about a lot. I've looked at that question a lot. I think TikTok has some improvements or advantages over Instagram in that respect. It seems a little bit more like creating a TikTok is sort of a creative thing, and in the way like there's more ownership of it, and it's more almost an art project than just like retouching a photo of yourself for Instagram, and very much just playing into like a certain kind of unrealizable beauty standard that seems to be the issue with Instagram.
Right. But you could poison, you could like really poison a society if you wanted to, if you had control over their social media that their young kids were getting all, into. You could feed them, for example, just like a bunch of Cardi B. I don't know. You could like put in front of them stuff that makes the kids so, oh, I want to be like that. And then your society you could shape and say, now we're going to feed our kids that it's better to be good at engineering and math, and we're going to teach their kids that it's better to be, dancers. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not disparaging those fields at all. I'm just saying that if you tell one society, this is what you all should grow up to be, and then you tell another society, and this is what you should all grow up to be, you could really shift a generation of thinking on social media. Right.
It'd be like if, Radio Free Europe or whatever, like the American kind of propaganda media outfit was in the hands of every single like Chinese kid.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary.
That'd be great.
Maybe. Right.
That'd be great.
But, I'd say be careful what would happen after the collapse of the CCP. But yes, so it's an extraordinary amount of power to cede to an adversarial government. Right. It's wild. And it's an extraordinarily powerful tool. Like the algorithm is just absolutely amazing in what it's able to do.
But I do like to see competition and fight. I mean, this kind of corporate sabotage actually shows that there is competition between these companies to some degree, which I think can only be beneficial because I want them to have different policies. I want them to try out different policies. I want them to be feuding with each other rather than all in lockstep about what you should be allowed to say, all having identical content moderation policies. I think it's healthier if they experiment with different pathways. We find out what works better. So I kind of like that they're at each other's throats. And it's funny, Facebook publicly will point to TikTok and go, see, look, we're not a monopoly, we're not scary. Right. Here's this other company that's doing really well. And then privately they're like, destroy them.
Buy them. Buy them and snuff them out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Facebook's worried, or Meta, whatever, I'm sure they're worried that they're going to become the new MySpace. I mean, I feel like it's already kind of going in that direction. Not very many people are using Facebook.
Which speaks to, and I've said this, a couple times, that part of the reason I'm reticent to wade in with legislation or regulation for these companies is that, excuse me, there is more change in this sector. There is a lot of change historically. I think change still could happen, and I wouldn't want to accidentally entrench the ones we have now by constructing some kind of really poorly thought out regulation.
Although what if there's a middle position that allowing them to make all of these anti-competitive acquisitions softened them up and was actually bad for them? Like by allowing them to just buy up Instagram, buy up WhatsApp, buy up all these competitors instead of having to internally compete against them is the thing that created the sloth that will then be their demise.
Certainly if you're going to do one change or one preventing them further acquisitions seems like a more defensible one than some of the other things on the table to me.
Right, and it's often right-wing free market people who are the most vociferous advocates of this antitrust stuff.
I know, I've pointed out this hypocrisy on many occasions.
I have too. Yes.
Well, aren't you two just coming together from both sides?
There you go.
Isn't this wonderful?
Yeah.
We are indeed.
But we still got to get Rising going on TikTok. It's there. You can find it.
Yep.
We're all for diversifying what platforms we're using. I think, given recent developments,
wretched big tech platforms.
Yeah. Anyway, tomorrow on Rising, Hill reporter Hannah Trudeau will detail why some Democratic candidates are steering clear of the term progressive altogether, despite campaigning on agenda items traditionally associated with the term.
And filmmaker and activist Abby Martin will break down her experience with big tech's crackdown on left-wing media.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And get us on TikTok, but also, if you like to listen to us while you're on the go, we are available on podcast. So be sure to check that out. Find us everywhere. That's at Twitter, TikTok, podcasts, YouTube. You can find us everywhere. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.
We are everywhere.
Over now.